Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Monday, so it's my poetry day. This is called In a Dark Time by Theodor Roethke. In a dark time the eye begins to see. I meet my shadow in the deepening shade. I hear my echo in the echoing wood, a lord of nature weeping to a tree. I live between the heron and the wren, beasts of the hill and serpents of the den. What's madness but nobility of soul at odds with circumstance? The day's on fire, and I know the purity of pure despair, my shadow pinned against the sweating wall. That place among the rocks, is it a cave or a winding path? The edge is what I have. We're all on the edge, we're all doing time. So for those of you who are journaling or elevating the conversation with these kind of questions, I'm always interested in hearing what's going on with you. And those, when you reach back out to me, I always respond, always will. So my question for you today, looking at your life, where do you have healthy and stable relationships? In your work, in your bloodkin, in your family affiliation, in your friendships? And what does stable and healthy mean to me? People who you can count on, people who count on you, people who you have faith in, people who have faith in you. And that's a stable relationship. All right, my teacher says, first comes stability in the body, then comes mental clarity, which is what's going to uncover and then transform what he calls the virgin purity of the uncontaminated self. That's our spirit. That leads you to the art of right living. And so, in a strange way, even though it looks like it's a physical practice, yoga turns out to be a philosophical lifestyle. I've tried to debunk some of the bastardization of the classical teachings of yoga as it's become Americanized, the McDharma aspect of yoga, and translate what I think is the wisdom of the ages into modern and meaningful terms that can be appropriate for our life and our culture in this historical time period. So the first thing, of course, is to look into how conditioned the human mind is. Start with myself. I didn't realize how conditioned I was. And of course, my body was conditioned in its own way to be kind of stiff. And ultimately, it leads you to what's called choiceless awareness, a quality of mind which just begins to observe its own conditioning. It's not trying to say, oh, you shouldn't do that, I should do this. It's not judging in any way. It's just observing, becoming interested in looking at the nature of one's conditioning, not trying to silence it, not trying to make it go away, just simply looking. Sounds like Buddhist mindfulness, doesn't it? Well, life is a learning lab where we're all teachers and all students. But as we lead into affirmation and the things that we tell ourselves and the way we speak, I always like to remind myself, remember first, everything I say is all about me, but there's nothing personal in it, that my daily mood is what makes the weather, the inner weather. Yes, my personal approach is what creates the climate. I have the power to make my life or anybody else's life better or more miserable. I can humiliate or I can humor. I can hurt or I can heal. It's my response that decides whether things are going to escalate or de-escalate, whether I humanize or dehumanize another person. So when you're doing this, you're not interested in gathering information from other people. Do you accept what others have told you rather than directly going to spirit yourself? I'm telling you, go directly to spirit yourself. A lot of it has to do with recognizing who you are and what you're bringing with you. When did you realize you were special? Nobody ever told you you were special? Ooh, must be some kind of shame there that's associated with some kind of guilt that you're carrying or a wound. And as you know, the wound is a womb through which you give birth to something. So in your wound, you might find something of your genius. But if you have any kind of trauma in your past, you have to stop trying to be cheerful and go back into the ashes, not deny what your upbringing was, whether it was your original family, family of affiliation, teachers, peers, the system, whatever. So you have to learn to reflect on your past and anticipate your future. So all your life experiences blend together to make you a unique brand of cultural diversity made up of so many different tributaries. Honor that and honor all the things that got you here. So if you do that, and you can leave today's little Dharma rap saying, I attune to feel good. That which feels good is what I look at most often. And I always allow the well-being that is natural to me to flow. I hope you do the same.